This is the San Jose Convention Center in the heart of the Silicon Valley. In just a few moments, we'll take you inside here for the third annual Computer Bowl. The Computer Bowl is a kind of computer trivia quiz show in which a team of computer experts from the East Coast takes on a team from the West Coast to see which side knows more about computers. Now, the West Coast team won last year. That's why they're the home team for this year's battle. So stay tuned, play along with us as we bring you Computer Bowl 3 on this special edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by Central Point Software, suppliers of utilities software, including disk backup, data recovery, file and desktop management, and virus protection. Central Point Software, making computing safer, simpler, faster. Additional funding is provided by the Software Publishers Association, which reminds you it's a federal offense to copy software, and by PC Connection and Mac Connection, and by Byte Magazine and Bix.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and in just a moment I'll be joined by Bill Gates, chairman of Microsoft, as we co-host the third annual Computer Bowl, sponsored by the Computer Museum. The East Coast team won the first year, the West Coast team won last year, so now it's the rubber match to see who knows more about computer trivia. This year's teams feature heavy-hitting all-stars like Philippe Kahn, Heidi Roizen, John Markoff, and Ed Juge. So stay tuned. We're on our way to the San Jose Convention Center for the third annual Computer Bowl. Good evening and welcome to the Computer Museum's 1991 Computer Bowl version 3.0, also known as Computer Bowl 3, presented by the Association of Computing Machinery. We're here in the heart of the Silicon Valley tonight at the San Jose Convention Center, home turf of the reigning Computer Bowl champs, the West Coast team. But tonight is the rubber match of this now legendary rivalry, or we could call it the Revenge of the Nerds Part 2. As the brains from the East Coast have come to play ball, and as you know, in a championship match, as they say, anything can happen. We're joined tonight by live audiences connected via satellite at the Computer Museum in Boston, and also at the Hub Ballroom on the University of Washington campus in Seattle. And of course, we have what I gather is a slightly partisan crowd right here in San Jose. What's it all about? This Computer Bowl, which you can see down here right in front of me, it has been in the possession of the West Coast team for the past 12 months after a thrilling sudden death victory just a year ago in Boston. So without further ado, let's begin by introducing the challengers from the East. In this corner, from Digital Equipment Corporation, Research Vice President Samuel the Brushman Fuller. From the dubious field of journalism, New York Times technology writer John 50% Markoff. From International Business Machines, the Vice President for Science and Technology, Dr. John Jack Armstrong. From AT&T Computer Systems, the Vice President for High Performance and Fault Tolerant Systems, Dr. James No Fault Clark. And last but not least, the captain of the East Coast team, computer historian and deep thinker, Pamela McCorduck. Let's hear it for the East. All right, now in the opposing corner, the home team and defending champions from the mellow West Coast. It looks like the East Coast has mellowed out a little bit here. From the Tandy Corporation, the Director of Market Planning for Radio Shack, Ed, here comes the Juge. From Intel Corporation, President of the Microcomputer Component Group, David Powerhouse. From Metaphor Computer Systems, President and CEO, David the Goliath Liddell. From the world of jazz, and also President of Borland International, Philippe King Kahn. And the captain of the West Coast team, the president and CEO of Teamaker Company, Heidi Poison Roizen. All right, you may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. And here's how we're going to play the game. We will have 4 rounds of questions. There will be 3 different types of questions in each of the rounds. There are toss-up questions, which are worth 10 points each, and any one of you can answer one of the toss-up questions. There will be what we'll call bonus questions. They're also worth 10 points each. They can be answered by any individual panelist, but a correct answer to a bonus question entitles that team to get into a special bonus round in which we'll have a series of 3 one-team only questions to be answered only by the captain of that team after due consultation. 30 points maximum for each bonus round. Now, if your answer to a toss-up question or a bonus question is wrong, a player from the other team will have a chance to answer the question. Also, please remember, panelists, you have to ring your buzzer, wait to be recognized before you answer, or your answer will not count. If you ring the buzzer before we have finished asking the question and your answer is wrong, the opposing team will get a chance to answer the same question after hearing the full question, and it will then be worth 20 points to that other team, so there is a little penalty for gambling, especially if you lose. Now, since we know what a cantankerous group this is here today, we have 2 resident expert judges whose job it will be to decide on disputed answers. From the East Coast, the chairman of IDG and star of Computer Bowl 2, Pat McGovern. And from the West Coast, a partner in the venture capital firm of Kleiner Perkins Caulfield and Byers and a member of last year's championship West Coast team, John Doerr. And to make sure everything is on the up and up tonight, all Computer Bowl answers have been verified by International Data Corporation. The scoring is being certified by a representative of Price Waterhouse. But we'll still have arguments, I'm sure. Finally, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the MVP from Computer Bowl 2, our official examiner for the night, the chairman of the board of Microsoft, Wild Bill Gates. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, get your hands ready, get your brains working. Bill, we are about to begin. It's all yours.
The last 2 letters in the names of many early computer companies were A-C, as in Iliac or ENIAC. What did the letters A-C stand for?
Okay, we have the West Coast team, Liddell.
Automatic calculator.
I'm afraid that is not right. Anybody on the East Coast team like to try it? AC. Yes, Pamela.
Automatic computer.
Automatic computer is right. That's 10 points for the East. All right. Next question, Bill.
How many data bits are there in the S100 bus?
Come on, okay. West Coast Juge.
There aren't any data bits in the bus.
Anybody on the East Coast like to give that a shot? Okay, Mr. Clark.
8.
8 is the right answer. 20 points now for the East Coast. Sorry about that, Ed. Go ahead, Bill.
A computer language is named after a famous 17th century French mathematician.
East Coast, Armstrong.
Pascal.
That is not the correct answer. Wait. Listen to the whole question. West Coast, you'll have a chance.
What was his first or given name?
Philippe Kahn was first.
Blaise Pascal.
Blaise is the answer. Okay. That is 20 points for the East. You'll learn patience, Okay, Bill.
Almost 10 years ago, in October 1981, Steve Jobs appeared on the cover of Inc. magazine. And that photo was Jobs wearing a t-shirt, a bathing suit, a shirt and jacket.
About 5 seconds to go. Okay, we have Fuller on the East Coast.
A t-shirt.
That is not correct. Okay, we have Philippe Kahn.
A shirt and jacket.
That is correct. He was wearing a shirt and jacket.
He couldn't be in a bathing suit.
All right, we're now coming up to a bonus question. First of all, let's check the score. The West Coast has 30 right now. The East Coast has 20. We're about to begin a bonus round. Pay attention.
In the 1959 movie Desk Set, Katharine Hepburn and her staff are worried that they might be replaced by a computer being installed by Spencer Tracy. What was the name of that computer? Was it the Emerac, Calla Lily 1, Univac.
All right, we have West Coast, Heidi Roizen.
It was the Univac.
I'm afraid that's not correct. You have a chance to try for this question on the East Coast. Maybe repeat the choices, Bill, so the question's clear.
Emerac, Calla Lily 1, Univac.
Who would like to give it a try? All right, you're on, yes. Go ahead.
Emerac.
Emerac is right. 50-50, as Ed said over here. All right, East Coast, that gets you into this next bonus round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and the category is going to be television, since you seem to be so good at movies. In the 1950s, now remember, you can consult now, and only Pamela, your captain, can answer for you, okay? In the 1950s, a computer company was the sponsor of a TV quiz show. What was the computer company? Was it IBM, RCA, Burroughs, or Remington Rand? You have 10 seconds. For 10 points. You don't have to ring your buzzer? Yes.
RCA.
I'm afraid that's not the right answer. The correct answer was Remington Rand. All right, you can still get 20 points out of this bonus round. Here's the second question. That same quiz show was in fact a very well-known TV program at the time. What was its title? I've Got a Secret, What's My Line, or Beat the Clock? For 10 points. The show is sponsored by Remington Rand. You don't have to ring. Give me your answer.
Beat the clock.
I'm afraid you didn't. That's wrong. It was What's My Line, sponsored by Remington Rand. You've got one more shot at 10 points here. Slightly different area, maybe you'll be better. In the mid-1970s, one of the first real personal computers was introduced. The computer was named after a destination visited by the Starship Enterprise on the program Star Trek. What was the name of that destination and that computer? Was it the IMSI, the SOL, the Altair 8800, or the Apple II?
It was the Altair.
Sorry?
It was the Altair.
That's a correct answer. You did get 10 points out of that, the Altair 8800. All right, the score at the end of that bonus round now, the East Coast still ahead, 40-30 for the West. We're up for another toss-up question, Bill.
Who was the recipient of the first Turing Award? Was it John McCarthy, Donald Knuth, Egstra Dijkstra, or Alan Perlis?
All right, McCordick on the East Coast.
Alan Perlis.
Alan Perlis is correct in 1966. 10 points for the East. Next, Bill.
What does the term BitNet stand for?
East Coast Markov.
Because it's time.
That is not the correct answer. Would anybody on the West Coast like to try? Yes, Philippe.
Binary digit.
No, that's even worse.
Did you say bit?
You almost had it over here. The answer is because it's time, network. You forgot the net part of BitNet. Okay, can we move ahead to the next bonus question, please? Bill number 15, would you?
Punch cards were initially developed in 1801 by a textile mill owner to automate the patterns woven into cloth by his textile loom. What was the name of the man who first developed this application?
East Coast Armstrong.
Jacquard.
That's correct, Joseph Marie Jacquard. All right, that bonus question gets the East Coast into a bonus round then. That was a bonus question. And I'm going to ask you again 3 questions. You have a chance to recoup from the last time. All right, remember, consult. The captain gives us the answer. All right, there are mainly 2 layouts for a computer keyboard, the QWERTY keyboard and the Dvorak keyboard. However, several of the letters appear in the same position on both keyboards. How many of the alphabetic keys appear in the same place on both layouts? Is it 2, 4, 6, or 8? You have 10 seconds. For 10 points.
4.
I'm afraid that's not the right answer. It is only 2. However, if you'd like to get another 10 points, can you tell me which 2 keys are in the same position on both keyboards?
The 1 and the 2.
No, I'm afraid I said alphabetic, and it's the A and the M. All right, last question of the bonus round, and we're almost out of time in this particular round. The mouse has become a standard computer input device. Who invented the mouse?
Doug Engelbart.
You got the last one again, 10 points out of that bonus round. Okay, well, that's about time up for round one, and at the end of round one, what do we have here? The East Coast ahead by 70, the West Coast has 30. We're going to be back in just one moment. Welcome back to Computer Bowl 3. This is round 2 right now, and the score stands East Coast 70, West Coast 30. A little bit of work to catch up with you guys. Let's get to the first toss-up question, Bill.
Who composed the Chinese room problem in an attempt to prove that computers can't think?
McCormick on the East Coast.
John Searle.
John Searle is the right answer. 10 points for the East.
Some computer scientists are a bit odd. One famous computer pioneer had a hatred for street musicians. Who was it?
McCormick on the East.
Charles Babbage.
Charles Babbage is right. Another 10 points for the East Coast. Next question.
High Sierra is the name of a CD-ROM standard. What is the origin of that name? Was it named after the chief designer's dog, a communications code word, a hotel?
Philippe Kahn on the West.
Hotel.
That's right, it was Del Webb's High Sierra Hotel. Very good. Okay, 10 points more for the West Coast. All right, we're at 90-40 right now, Bill.
What was the first machine with an Ethernet interface?
Liddell on the West Coast.
You
It
ought
was
to
the
know.
Xerox Alta.
That's correct. 10 points for the West. All right, the score right now, 90 points for the East, 50 points for the West, and we're coming to an all-important bonus question where somebody's going to get ahead here. Go ahead, Bill.
There's a computer company whose name is AST Research. The name of the company came from the first initials of each of the 3 founders. Can you give me their names?
Philippe Kahn, West Coast.
Albert, Safi, and Tom.
Very, very good. That's 3 of them, A, S, and T. Okay. West Coast, you are behind by 30 points. You can get 30 points during this bonus round, and the category is startups. Remember, consult and answer only through your captain. It's almost a cliche that many Silicon Valley companies started out in a garage. Of the following companies, which one did not start in a garage? Apple, Hewlett-Packard, Televideo, or Sun? Which one did not start in a garage? You have 5 seconds. I need your answer now.
It was Televideo.
That's not correct, I'm afraid. The answer was Sun. Okay. Now, obviously, from that question, Hewlett-Packard did start in a garage, and the garage was on a street in Palo Alto. The 2 men were, of course, Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard. What was the name of the street? You have 10 seconds. What street in Palo Alto did Hewlett and Packard start?
Cowper.
I'm afraid not. It was Addison Street in Palo Alto. All right, you've got a chance for 10 points still. Digital Research Incorporated is often referred to as DRI. But in fact, when it was first formed, it was called IDR. What did those letters stand for? You have 5 seconds. I need an answer now.
Intergalactic Data Research.
Almost, almost. Intergalactic was the hard part. You got that. Intergalactic Digital Research. Sorry. All right, I'm afraid the score still stands at 90-60 in favor of the East, and we go back to another toss-up question, Bill.
Which of the following sort routines was named after a person? Heap sort, quick sort, shell sort, bubble sort.
Fuller on the East Coast.
Shell sort.
Shell sort is right. Next, Bill.
What do the letters BCD stand for?
Liddell on the West Coast.
Binary coded decimal.
Binary coded decimal is correct. 10 more.
Before Seymour Cray co-founded Control Data, he was a computer engineer at what company?
Liddell on the West.
UNIVAC.
I'm afraid that is not the right answer. Anybody on the East like to give that a shot? Matter of fact, we didn't complete the question, Bill. I guess you can finish the question.
Sperry Rand.
No, you cannot talk now.
IBM, Honeywell.
Which of those three companies? There's no consultation. One person must answer, Pamela.
Honeywell.
I'm afraid that's not right. The answer is Sperry Rand. All right, next question, Bill.
What was the first encyclopedia to appear in CD-ROM?
Heidi Roizen on the West Coast.
Grolier.
Grolier's is correct.
Three computer companies have the word Packard in their name. Can you name those three companies?
You have 10 seconds. All right, House on the West.
Hewlett-Packard,
That's one.
Packard Bell,
That's
and
two.
Packard Computer.
I don't think number 3 is correct. The third one is Ferranti Packard. So I'm afraid no hope on that. And I'm sorry I did not give you a chance to answer that question.
They wouldn't have got it.
In the true tradition of judging, we'll make up for it later. All right, next question, Bill.
Ada Lovelace is often referred to as the first programmer, but her father's occupation had nothing to do with...
Heidi Roizen, West Coast.
Lord Byron.
I knew you'd get that in eventually. However, I'm going to have to ask the judges on this one. Well, let me ask Bill, finish the question. Bill did not finish the question, and let me see what you think. Finish the question, Bill.
Or math. What did Ada... I'll read it. I'll go back.
I won't be so literal next time.
Wait, I meant to say Lord Byron, the famous author.
Let Bill re-ask the question.
But her father's occupation had nothing to do with computers or math. What did Ada Lovelace's father do for a living?
He was Lord
She
Byron.
answered Lord Byron.
That's what he did.
John, you agree?
I agree.
All right, I'm afraid that's the wrong answer. Yeah, you're certainly entitled to a shot.
Okay, he was a poet.
Very good. All right, we're about to go into a bonus question now. That's why we have judges here. The score is 120 for the East, 80 for the West. We're into a bonus question right now. Time to catch up, Bill.
A book entitled Who Got Einstein's Office is about an institution where a lot of early computer research was done. What is the institution?
McCormick on the East.
The Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton.
Very good. That's exactly right. All right, it is a bonus round now for the East Coast. You are ahead 130 to 80 right now. Let's see if you can build up your lead. Again, consult. Don't ring your buzzer. Only Pamela can answer. Category is books. What book containing a bird's name is about illegal break-ins on computer networks?
The Cuckoo's Egg.
Cuckoo's Nest is correct for 10 points. Pardon?
She didn't say that.
I'm sorry, you didn't.
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer. What did you say?
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
She said
Everybody's
cuckoo's
telling
egg.
Cuckoo's egg. Oh, I'm very sorry.
Cuckoo's egg.
Okay. Next question.
The cuckoo's egg.
The answer is the cuckoo's nest. Pam said the cuckoo's egg.
Excuse me.
Actually, this is
The answer is the cuckoo's egg.
Judges, please.
She was right. The answer is the cuckoo's egg.
Thank you very much. That is correct. 10 points. We have the wrong answer here. Okay, we're still in the bonus round. 10 more points. The Book of the Month Club recently offered a new novel based on a computer theme. What was the name of that book? Was it Goodbye, Mr. Mipps? The Open Window version 3.0? Or The Difference Engine?
It was the Difference Engine.
The Difference Engine is correct. 10 points. All right, here's your last bonus round question. Kurt Vonnegut once wrote a short story about a computer that wrote poetry and then eventually committed suicide. What was the name of that computer? Was it called Epicac, Meissen, Dresden? Which of those three? I need an answer now.
Epicat.
Epicac is correct for 10 points. Okay, that's the end of the bonus round, and in fact, that is the end of round 2. Right now, the East with a very commanding lead of 160 points. The West Coast 80 points, but we have 2 rounds to go. No, we have 2 rounds to go. For those of you here in the San Jose Convention Center and for all of you watching live via satellite, please stay seated. We're going to resume the Computer Bowl in just a moment after we take a very brief technical break. Now, for those of you watching this at home on television, that's it for this special edition of Computer Chronicles. We'll be back next week with the last half of the Computer Bowl, rounds 3 and 4, to see whether the East Coast or the West Coast earns the title of Masters of the Computer Universe. We'll see you here again next week.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by Central Point Software, makers of Central Point Antivirus, a comprehensive program for the detection, removal, and prevention of more than 500 computer viruses. Additional funding has been provided by the Software Publishers Association, which reminds you it's a federal offense to copy software, and by PC Connection and Mac Connection, and by Byte Magazine and Bix, the Byte Information Exchange.